Hello, this is Michelle from Michelle's Fiber Studio podcast. This is my February school vacation week, and I'm hoping to get up to a lot of fibery goodness this week. So I thought it might be fun to do a vlog. I've never done this kind of video, so we'll see how this goes. And who knows, maybe I'll just trash all the footage. But I have a couple of projects that I'm hoping to complete. I have a couple of new projects that I'm hoping to start. And I thought I'd take you along this week, see what I get up to. Right now, I am really close to finishing my Deck the Hall shawl. I'm binding off. That's what I've got left to bind off. So shall we get started? Good morning, happy Monday, happy President's Day. I am sitting here trying to decide what I'm going to start with today. I did finish my shawl yesterday, got it all blocked, and I actually just did a quick little photo shoot, so I gotta get those pictures into Ravelry. And because I finished that and I finished my West Knit shawl, I think I'm gonna reward myself with my sweater cast on, but I will talk about that later. I need to do some measurements and such. I think what I'm going to start with today is a few of the squares for my Aura Lapghan. I haven't touched it in over a week. I was very focused on finishing some things, so I think that will be my first order of business today. I took a little bit of a break. It is now 2 o'clock. We've been trying to finish our closet. My husband has been working all weekend on building the second half of our closet organization system. So I folded some clothes and was working on that, and he's got some more to do before we can actually move furniture around. So I think I'm gonna work on my cardigan. So I have Is my yarn handy? Yeah, right here. I have had ready to go this yarn. It is my Illimani Soubrette that I got in Brooklyn last summer, and I, for the longest time, was planning to make the Nova cardigan. So last week, or maybe it was the week before, I actually took a really solid look at the pattern and started to figure out what size I wanted to make based on my gauge swatch. And I realized that it is a bottom-up construction, which isn't the end of the world, but I'm not as big of a fan of bottom-up cardigans. And yeah, I just kind of decided I didn't want to do that. So I went pattern diving, and I have decided instead I'm going to make the Soubrette. I think that's how you say it. Soubrette cardigan. It is a Lyrical Knits, I do believe. It's either Lyrical Knits or Hilo Catelli. It's one of the two. It's a pattern I already own, and that is a top-down construction. So I believe that is what I'm going to cast on, but I think before I do, I want to take some new measurements of my body. I have been working out twice a week for the last year and a half, and it's been a little while since I've taken some measurements. I think my body has changed and shifted around a little bit. So I think that might be my next smart move to make sure that I have something that will fit me exactly the way that I want it to. Happy Tuesday. I have had a productive morning so far. It is a little after, it's 11:50, a little after 11. I have been to the gym, and I just finished the last of my striped hexies, which is the last set of hexies for the first clue of the Aura Lapghan. So that feels really good. I am about to head out in a minute or two. I've got a haircut, and then when I come back, I want to film a podcast. And then hopefully I can settle in. I did cast on my sweater yesterday, so I'm hoping I can get some more done on that. I didn't get very much done, just one little section, but that is kind of where I'm at right now. So I think I'm going to go change and get that haircut done. Thought I'd check in real quick. So I just finished recording the podcast and editing it. It is currently uploading. I have been working some more on my soubrette, so it is growing. I have figured out that, let me reorient myself. All right, so this is going to be the back of the neck, this side. And this part right here is where I'm going to pick up stitches and knit the left side, and it grows from there. And then this part on here, I pick up again and knit down, and that's where the back ends up, in the sleeves end up growing off of. So I don't know if that made any sense, but I spent a little time studying it, so figured that out. So I think I have one more little section to do before I would then be picking up stitches for the other half. So I think I'm going to work on that, get that done, and then maybe I will work on some of my squares for my imagination quilt, because I haven't really done that all week. So I think that's where this sits. Good morning and happy Wednesday. I have been sitting here, it's 10:30 in the morning, and I have had a really slow morning. I don't have any plans today until Bible study tonight, so I am fully embracing that. I have been working on my squares. You would have seen last night that I did I need 8 of these. I did 4 of them, so I did 3 more, and I am working on the 4th one, and I lost yarn chicken. I have literally that to go, so it's what, 7 double crochets. So I need to go unwind another skein. What I can't decide is if I want to just rip this square out and save this yarn for seaming, so that way I don't have an extra end to weave in, and I'm debating on whether ripping out and redoing the square is less work than just weaving in 2 extra ends. Don't know, haven't decided. So I gotta go do that. And then this is the last color that I have wound. Well, no, that's again not entirely true, because I have color 23, I think it is. The one that I assigned to color 23, I had already done. But I have my last 3 minis that I want to get all wound up, so I can wind them, I can photograph them, I can weigh them, and they are just ready to go. And I'm really kind of hoping to get those. That will be, because this is color 20, and there are 24 colors. So that means I'll just have 4 more colors to work through in the little squares. So I'm hoping to get the winding done. I won't get all the squares done, but over the course of the rest of this week, get those squares done. Last night when we were watching TV, I finished I think it's the right half of the back on my cardigan. So I didn't bring my needles over, so I didn't have a spare cord, because I now need to cut this off. Well, actually I did cut it off, and I need to pick up stitches. So this needs to be on waste yarn. I guess I could have threaded yarn in there. I didn't even think of that while I was sitting there, but I usually just leave them on the cord. So I need to grab another cord out so that I can pick up my stitches and start knitting the left side. So I want to get that done today. And maybe I will start my new project too. But that, at this moment, is what I feel like I have on the docket. Good morning, happy Thursday. It is about 8 o'clock. Today I'm dressed for the gym. I head out, my workout today is at 10. I don't know how much knitting I'm going to get done today. Today is a day that I think I'm designating for lots of miscellaneous little tasks that I need to get done. My day is already disrupted by my gym time, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to get some other things done, and my hope is that by doing that today I can have another full day tomorrow like I had yesterday, where it is pretty much devoted to just doing yarny goodness. So I do know, however, that a couple of things that I want to do is last night at Bible study, I did finish my sock. I just need to graft the toe. So I'm gonna actually do that as soon as I'm done here before I go get some work done. And then on my cardigan, my Soubrette, the other thing I absolutely want to do today is I started picking up stitches right here along the selvage edge. Actually, if I show you the right side, that might be helpful, huh? So I've got stitches that I started picking up here, and then I have like 80 of them to pick across here, and I was getting annoyed and frustrated doing that last night at 5 o'clock. It was starting to get dark and I was having a hard time seeing. So I decided to wait and do that today during the daylight. But that can wait until a little bit later. So I think that's how things look from here. Morning, happy Friday. Let's see what happened yesterday. As predicted, I didn't get a whole lot of knitting in, although I did finish my sock. I think I might have shown you that yesterday morning. And I did yesterday afternoon immediately cast on a yarn cozy with the leftovers because I wanted to knit a yarn cozy with that. So I got the whole bottom done, and now I'm at 3.5 inches of knitting round and round and round. So we'll pick away at that. I'd like to actually get that done by the end of the weekend. That should be doable. So that's really not a ton of knitting, and then that skein can be totally put away and be done with. I did a few squares on my imagination quilt. So I don't know exactly what my plan is today. Today I got my errands, or actually it wasn't even errands because it was all in the house stuff, but I got my tasks done yesterday. So my plan today is to just have a nitty day, have a yarny day, and we'll see what I get up to. I definitely want to touch the crop. I'm looking kind of at my big pile. You want to see my big pile? That's what it looks like from my vantage point. And then I got some bags down there too. So yeah. I'd like to work on the cross stitch project. I'm tempted to throw the photo back into the program and generate a second chart, and this time limit it to like 50 colors, and just for curiosity, just to see what it would be like, because my struggle, and I think my pain point right now, is I'm not happy with some of the colors that the program selected, and that really actually has to do a lot with the highlights in that photo because it was done in bright sunlight, and so it's picking up highlights and throwing in these random greens in places that I know I don't want them, and even some lighter shades and whatnot. And so I have played with the pattern, or played with the chart, and tried to smooth out some of those colors, but it's really tedious, I guess is the right word. And I have to go back and forth a lot between editing it and then looking at the preview of what it would look like cross-stitched. And I don't want to really get deep into the cross-stitching part until I'm happy with how that looks, because I don't want to have to rip things out, right? It's not as easy as undoing knitting for sure. So that's honestly, I think, has been one of the holdups, is like, I don't want to pull it out because I don't know what to do. So maybe I was toying around with doing that, throwing the photo back into the program to see if I could come up with, just to compare and see if it would give me, even if it's something that I can use on the one that I'm doing, but I have this like side-by-side comparison, so I have something to help me choose what colors I want. Because that's the other thing, is like I'm just kind of randomly picking a couple of colors to fill in and yeah, anyway, it's a very long story. So I might do that today. I do know that one thing I definitely want to do, and I'm not sure at one point today if that'll be after lunch or this morning, probably after lunch, is I want to go upstairs, and I have several buckets, totes of yarn. When I kind of moved my major stash from downstairs to upstairs, it's mostly acrylic. It's not like what I would consider my active stash, which is primarily fingering yarn, and it's in a bookcase down here. Anyway, that's all upstairs in totes, and I would like to go through those totes. I have some drawers in my guest room in a dresser that I am going to take over and store some of that yarn. And then I also want to sort through and figure out what I want to keep, because I know there's some stuff, mostly it's stuff that I acquired. It wasn't an estate sale, but it was like somebody's estate, and a friend of mine had invited me over to her garage to go through and pull out yarn, and I took a whole bunch, and that was like 5 years ago. I'm trying to think if it was before or after COVID, but I really haven't used it, and I'm not going to. I know I'm not going to. And next weekend is the spa event in Freeport, and they have a free table. So I'd like to bring all of that there and just leave it so I can get it out of my life. So that is definitely a task that I want to do today. So beyond that, I don't know. We'll see what strikes the fancy and what I decide to work on. I think for the moment, though, I'm going to go make a second cup of coffee and probably work on some squares for my imagination quilt. Relocated to my guest room, and I am going to do some of that yarn sorting. In the closet behind me are a whole bunch of tubs that I need to go through. I want to pull some of the yarn out, and I want to store it in, well, that dresser over there, not the dog, the dresser. And then I want to sort, and there's some of it that I want to get rid of. So let's get started. It didn't quite all fit on the bed. I got 4 bins on the bed, bin on the floor there, bin on the dresser. I also have a big old trash bag, and I think that's full of yarn that my daughter left behind that I need to sort through as well. So, and in this dresser, I only want to use the bottom 3 drawers, 1, 2, and 3. I want to leave this bigger one and the 2 next size up so that when I have company, they can have those drawers allocated for them. I asked my daughter which drawers that she was using, and those are the ones that she wanted. So I know that I want to store my acrylic yarn in there. I think that's what I'm going to do first, is open up the bins, find the acrylic yarn that I want to put in the dresser, and get that tucked away. All my acrylic. I have a bunch in this bucket here, but it's all Vanna's choice, and I have decided I don't want that anymore. I just don't see myself using it, so that is probably going to go. So the stuff that I want to keep is in this drawer. I have a whole bunch of Knit Picks Brava. It's kind of a mess because I had ordered it, gosh, probably 8 or 10 years ago, and when it arrived, I had it out in a bag or a basket or whatever, and I was gone to work, and I came home, and one of my sweet dogs had decided that it looked very interesting and exciting and had rooted through it. And so the yarn itself is still fine. The labels didn't survive all of the skeins, and a few of the skeins are not as pretty looking, shall we say, but the yarn itself is all salvageable. So they don't look the greatest, but it's still good. On this side, I have, this is all Baby Bee, which is what I am making my Aura Lapghan with, and in what most recently is what I've been using when I make baby blankets for gifts. And then in the top drawer, the next drawer up, I have some woolies, which technically is an acrylic, and some big twist and a little bit of cotton. So I still have half a drawer here and that whole drawer there that I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with. The next step is really to start getting into these bins and pulling stuff out and figuring out probably what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, so then I can figure out how to store what I want to keep. My goodness, I have emptied all of the buckets, all of the bags, and this is, I guess, my secret stash, as it were. Yeah, this whole section, where's my finger? There it is. Right in here, that was from a bag from my daughter, but the rest of it, yep, all of this stuff I had gotten, it was like an estate, somebody who had passed away, and a friend of mine had acquired it. I guess I thought I was going to do some color work with it. So that was my, I know that's what I thought when I picked it up, but who am I? I don't really do color work, and I definitely don't knit with worsted. Like, this is pretty thick. Is it going to focus? And the colors are very dull. Like, that's the other thing. They're really not my colors even. So I did do a cowl out of some of it. I used, there's a navy and a gold. It wasn't that gold, it was more of a bright, almost like, it was actually probably this here, because that's skeined up, and a white. And I don't even wear the cowl because it's so thick and heavy. Like, yeah, this all needs to go. That big thing here, I got at Goodwill, and it's got stains on it. I'm not a dyer, so I don't know why I thought I would make use of that. Yeah, some of it I know I will keep, but a lot of this needs to go. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually go downstairs and grab my laptop so that way I can make sure that anything I'm pulling out I haven't cataloged either in Ravelry or in my spreadsheet. I know a lot of it I haven't, but I think some of it I have. And so I want to cross-check, and if I'm pulling it out on Ravelry or out of my stash, I want to make sure that I actually pull it out, so I don't think down the line that I have it. And then I'm going to bag up what I know right off the bat I'm not keeping. And I'm pretty confident that what is left, which is going to be just a small fraction of this, will fit in that drawer over there. Right, I got it down to a much more manageable pile of stuff that I think is worth keeping. That Target bag has a whole bunch of acrylic yarn that a friend gave me. I think could make a fun bulky sweater at some point. Same with that. And some bits and bobs. I have about 1,000 yards of this and 850 yards of this. So I think that could be useful. The gold is silk, and then a couple of blue skeins that I'm just not quite ready to part with. So this will definitely all fit. Well, that big Target bag that's pretty big, and that's pretty big. I'm not sure that I actually want to stick them into those drawers because they are full lots. I also kind of would like to get that entire tub on the bottom of my Jaeger spun that I picked up at Martin's last fall. I'd love to get it into that third drawer. So if I can get all of this stuff into the last of the space in that second drawer, then I can put the Jaeger spun into the third drawer and then just have the Target bag and the other bag. That and the cones, probably. That might work. Let's see if we can do that. It fit nicely. I actually still have a little bit of space left. And somewhere I'm realizing I have a whole bag of this. I love this cotton because I had done some bags for my nieces and I don't know where it landed. I've looked and I can't find it. And then I was able to get all my Jaeger spun in this drawer. So I feel really good about what I have accomplished in sorting. Today I have 3 big trash bags plus another small bag to take with me next weekend, and all that is going away. Good morning and happy Saturday. Let's see, I've gotten a lot done this week. I'm actually really pleased with all of my progress, but I have ended up with another project on my to-do list that I did not anticipate. So let me explain. Yesterday, when I was cleaning out that stuff upstairs, I came across a blanket that I have been working on. I'm gonna try it. I actually just picked up stitches. I don't want to lose them. So it is the Tamarix Quilt. And I started this project in 2010 It is an interweave knits pattern. I fell in love with it, and I took it upon myself to chart out, I don't know if you can see there, to make it bigger. I decided I wanted to expand it. Well, yeah, that was 2010, and I have been picking away at it, but I don't think I've actually touched it. I don't think I've touched it since COVID, to be frank. Maybe right after COVID, some early 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. But I'm frankly over this project. I'm about halfway done. I'm doing it out of Vanna's Choice, which was a yarn that we could get at Joann's back in the day. And I just want it gone. And so I've actually had this project in my mind for probably the last 2 years to dig it out and photograph it and then just like post it on Facebook or something and see if anybody wanted to take it and finish it. So yesterday when I was digging things out, I FaceTimed with my mom once I had the big pile of yarn on my bed, just because it was pretty comical actually. And I mentioned this blanket, and she suggested I take a look at it, and she's like, well, can you just like finish it off where it's at and make it a lap blanket and then donate it? I'm like, actually, that's not a bad idea. And so I took a look, and it is, you're not gonna be able to see it in the camera, but it is a decent lap blanket size, even though it's only halfway. So it was gonna be a pretty massive blanket when it was done. And I only had 5 squares left in the row. So you knit mitered squares. So there's a square there. And then you join as you go. And I was knitting the short side across. And I only had 5 squares left. So I said, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to bring it downstairs. I am going to finish those 5 squares. I'm probably gonna crochet a quick little, like 1 round of singles or 2 rounds of singles and a round of doubles, I don't know, something like that, on the border, and then I'm gonna donate it. And we have a woman in our church who lives in a assisted living facility. It's all women. There's like 40 women, I think, in this facility. And I'm gonna offer it to her first, but if she doesn't want it, I'm gonna let her take it back with her, and I am sure that there was somebody there who would like it. It's a perfect, I don't think anybody there is wheelchair bound, because by definition they wouldn't be, because that's not assisted living. But if you think of like a wheelchair Lapghan size, like this is a good size. And I know a lot of them like sit in their recliners and that kind of a thing. So I am positive somebody there will make use of it. It's all acrylic, so it's easy care. And it is going to be gone from my life. So I am actually very excited at the prospect, because this has been kind of hanging over me for a very, very long time. So I'm going to sit, I did 2 squares last night. And now that I've got the rhythm of it, it always took me a while to remember, because yeah, how to do the squares to connect them properly and join as you go kind of a thing. And, but I'm going to see if I can get these 3 squares done. At least the square is done today. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how deep in I get, but I've got to be in my bonnet now to get this one out of my life. That way next week when I am getting rid of all of that yarn, the leftover yarn for this can go with it. And the whole lot, the whole kit caboodle can be gone. Happy Sunday! I have reached the end of my vacation week. I've got a few minutes here before I head off for church. I've been working on my yarn cozy and playing a game on my iPad. When I come home from church today, my goal is to do the border on that blanket, the Tamarix Quilt. I did finish all 5 squares yesterday. I also want to cast on the second sock for my Spooky Girl socks, which have been in hibernation since November. And I want to get that cuff done hopefully today. Tomorrow, which I'm going to wrap up this vlog today, but tomorrow is, I have a training, but it looks like the training is going to get moved online because we have a significant snowstorm coming in. We're on like the northern edge of it, so like the Boston area is going to get 12 to 18 inches. We're going to probably only get 6 to 8, I think, in my area, but it will be enough to cancel school more than likely, and the training is more than likely going to get moved to Zoom. So I need some good Zoom knitting. So I want to make sure I have that sock cast on. Those are my 3 big goals, and I want to finish my cozy. So those are my 3 big goals when I come home from church, and then we will see what happens after that. It is Monday morning and I have gotten myself a good old-fashioned snow day. We are under a blizzard warning and my conference or my training was actually canceled outright. So I actually get to have a snow day today, which I'm very excited about. However, I have decided to close out the vlog here so that way I can get it edited and posted. So I hope you have enjoyed this little peek at what I did over my vacation. It was rather long, so if you've stuck it out, thank you very, very much. And I will see you next time.